Hello, I'm back. I was requested by a couple of people to show how to do heat transfer vinyl, and I want to start with this by saying I am not a professional at this by any means. I'm still very much a basic learner. I have a stocking that I made, and in the video description links, I will give you a link to how I made the stocking itself. But I knew I wanted to put some heat transfer vinyl on it, so here I am in the Silhouette Design Studio. I want to click my library, and under recent downloads, I'm going to click, I was going to click the plus here. See, the minus shrinks it and the plus enlarges it. I want to go to Christmas, and I'm thinking, I really like this. It's called Christmas Snowflake Reindeer, and I just got that from the design store. Now, these two are grouped together, so I'm going to ungroup. So what you do is you can highlight it or click it, whatever. I'm going to highlight, right click, and ungroup, and that way you can put the snowflake there and do layers, or you can put the snowflake there and cut it out. Well, I know that the dimensions of my project, the widest I can go is 3 inches and the tallest about 3.5, but the width is the most important. So I can keep shrinking it like this, or while it's highlighted, I can come over to the right side with this symbol here. It's the transform, and click this arrow, kind of an angled arrow there. Leave this, I want this locked because I want the ratio of height and weight. My nursing degree is coming in here, of height and width to stay in shape. And then I will put 3 for the width, tab, and apply. Now that will make sure that my width is 3 inches. Okay, now I can just get that off to the side. Anything on the mat will cut. This will not cut over here. Once I hit send, I can select what I want this to cut. It's not going to be cardstock. It's going to be glitter vinyl. Oh, heat transfer vinyl. So, whoops, I'm scrolling too fast. Let me look for the heat again. Heat transfer glitter. That's what it is. That's what I'm cutting. It automatically starts with a depth of 3 for the blade and a force of 33, and I have found that that works pretty well for this material. I'm using glitter heat transfer from Cricut, and since I'm starting, I don't have a whole lot of colors. I would have liked to have had a green, kind of a Christmassy green, but I don't. So I'll be using what I have, and I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to be doing this as a gold or black or what, but I am using glitter. And so it says could not connect. That's because I need to turn on the Cameo, connect it to my computer, and then I can do test, load this in and hit test so that it will do a little cut in the corner right up here, and I can see if it's cutting fully. I do have experience with this one, and I do know that this usually works for this. So then I can just hit send after loading it. So I'm going to sign off from this screen, and we're going to go and look at the Cameo itself. Okay, here I am at the computer, and I have my Cameo 2 turned on. I have my heat transfer vinyl. I decided to go with the black glitter because I know it will show up better on this than the gold would. And the other thing is I decided to stick it to my mat because it's easier than trying to roll just the vinyl through by itself. So that's in there. I have checked my blade by taking it out and changing it to the right depth. Now I'm over here, and I am connected to the computer. I want this reindeer to be facing the way he is, I'm thinking. And so in order to do that, when you're doing heat transfer vinyl, you actually need to reverse your image, especially if you're doing writing. So if you highlight it and right click it, you can choose flip horizontally. And then it just kind of gives you a little mirror image. And especially if you're doing lettering, you must reverse that. Okay, I'm trying to do this and not lose track here. So I go back to send, make sure it says heat transfer glitter, and it says cut. Looks like it's all red. Whatever is in red is going to cut. And then I did check my blade. It's at 3. and I changed the force to 33. So I come down here. Oops, sorry. If you click test, it will cut a little square in the top left corner of your vinyl so that you can test to make sure it's deep enough. I'm going to take my chances and do send because I have used this particular glitter before, glitter vinyl from Cricut, and I know the settings. So I click send and send as is. And see, it does warn you to let you know in this version I have, sorry, my finger there, in this version, because I don't know if it's all of the Silhouette Design Studio or if it's the Designer Edition or the Business Edition. The send as is. It's nice that it reminds you. So now this is going in there. I chose a really easy image to cut out. Like if you're cutting out a lot of fancy lettering, it would take longer, and it would also be harder to get the what you want off of the vinyl. And here we go. This one shouldn't take too long to cut out at all. Okay, and one thing you can do while you have it in here is to kind of check and see if it's coming off there with, excuse me, I got it, is to take a little needle or something and try to pry off the stuff that's not a design and see if it's coming off. And if it is, then you know you've already got it cut deep enough. So now I have cut this off from my roll, and I can pull it back and I can see it is peeling back. So now I'm going to remove all the image that is not the image, I should say, the negative. I'm going to remove that, and I'll show you that by moving over to my craft table. Okay, so here I am back at my craft table. I actually have another table in the back of my basement, and that's where I have my sewing machine and I have my Cameo. So now I'm back over here. And we're going to remove the negative from this. And so it is called weeding, like weeding a garden. And this will be really simple because, like I said, it's a very simple design. And you can save the pieces of the vinyl that you remove, because like Lori Nunemaker shows, she likes to just use a hole punch, and she will punch like snowflakes and other things like that out of her little excess vinyl here. So I'm just removing what's not part of the design. And if you have a really complicated, intricate design, you can use a light box under your work, and you could see through the cracks of where you cut, you can see what's part of the image. And so the light box really helps. I did a video of a light box that I got very affordably from Amazon. I'll give you the link to that video. If you would like a better quality than that one, I recommend the Cricut light box. And just based on the reviews that I've seen and the people whom I trust and what they've said about it, I really have a lot of confidence in that one. Okay, so that's that, and this is, again, this is the back. This is why we reverse the image, because it gets flipped over like this and ironed onto the design. Now there's one more piece of the puzzle left, and that's that he has an eye that needs to be removed. And a lot of times I like to use a little needle or something like that to just kind of poke that out of there. And there it is. He is so cute. And so if you just have like a drawer that you can use to put all these in and save those, that's a really good idea. Alrighty, now here is the stocking, and he is so cute. So I have to figure out, I do want him facing the left. Do I want my stocking to go like this, or do I want my stocking to go like this? And I think in this case I want it to go this way. I just think it looks better with the way he's aiming. Now I have the Cricut Easy Press, and no matter how you press this, you can use an iron if you don't have a machine. But the thing is, with an iron, it heats unevenly and it has holes in it on the base, and so it's difficult to get as even of a press on there. The other thing is, when you have something with seams in it like this does, this is not a seam here, but this is where I sewed. It's a seam, and so it's a lump, and when you lay a nice flat easy press on there like this, it's going to press really hard here and not hard here. So you need something inside. And I have this thick chipboard. You can put something inside that will be heat tolerant and will lift up the project from the seam. I'm pushing it over this way so that it's not, so that the seam is released there. Okay, let's take this and get the Easy Press heated up. Okay, I have a chart here from the Easy Press settings, and I chose cotton canvas because it's like that material. And then glitter for the iron-on, 270 degrees for 40 seconds. And you can change this to centigrade instead of Fahrenheit. So I have placed this where I want it, but I see that my plastic is up on the loop here, up on the cuff. So I might just want to cut that off and trim it down a little bit, because I don't need it sticking up so high. I don't need so much of this. So I'm just going to trim some of this off, dispose of that, and that way it's not in my way. And I can feel that my chipboard is completely under this. One thing you might want to do in a project is to warm the project up a little bit. I'm purposely avoiding the cuff up there so it stays flat. I'm just warming it up, and it kind of helps to get the moisture out of the project as well. Okay. And I'm going to lay this on there, and like I said, I'm going to check and make sure the chipboard is completely under my project, and it is. Okay, now, you know what? I'm going to lower that just a little bit. It doesn't need to be so high. There we go. Okay, 40 seconds. So we put that on there, gentle pressure, and push the timer. It's counting down, as you can see. You don't need to put your full weight on it. You don't need to be shaking or have your knuckles turning white because of pushing so hard. I'm just pushing a little bit. Doobie-doobie-doo. And then what we can do is, when it's done, flip it over and iron, and take out the chipboard and iron the back side too. And just try not to get over that one seam that I was talking about earlier. It helps to give a good seal on it and make sure it's done right and it's going to stay and last. So I want to show you something else I was thinking of doing with this, which is why I chose the black. 2, 1. Okay. Now, it usually tends to go down in temperature a little bit there. Oh, also, I want to show you, I do have this quilted ironing pad here that I got from Amazon. And many people say, well, don't use a quilted one. This is very thin, and it just really smushes and collapses under the ironing. It's not a problem. It hasn't interfered with my projects at all yet. So I want to do it again a little bit and avoid that one seam right there. There we go. Just to give it another little oomph here. I could have turned the time around, but I really wasn't sure I was going to do it for a whole nother 40 seconds. I probably should, because I'm going through extra fabric now. I'm going through the back layer and the front layer. I'm just kind of timing it off in my head and looking at a clock that I have on the other side of the room. Okay. Anyway, that helps to give it another seal. And then you can let that cool a little bit before peeling the plastic off. I'm going to turn my Easy Press off. Okay. Now, with your Easy Press, you get one chart that comes with it, and it's not as detailed as this one, so I'll see if I can give you the link also to where to get this recommended settings. Okay. And then what I wanted to do with this, I have this little tub of Jingle Bells here, and I thought I could maybe sew some little bells on him, some little tiny ones, after I peel that off, like maybe a little necklace around him. I'll see. Okay, so when you start peeling it off, at first you want to be careful to make sure that it's got a good adherence on there. It's doing great. Yes, I'm really glad that I went with the black in this case. Like I said, I think I want to sew these on there. And so to do that, I think it would show up better on the black than it would the golds. Let me go get a needle and thread. So right there on his neck. Now I have to think too, do I want them around his antlers instead? Like on his head? Like on a big bow on his head? I think I like it better how I had it down here. Like around his neck there. Very cute. I'm going to come in a little bit into the vinyl. I'm making sure I'm not sewing the back to the front. I'm still going to go gold, red, gold, even though they don't stay that way when they cluster. You could do this with other beads too. That would be really cute. And I'm just going to go down really close to where I came up. Oops, came out. Okay. I want to make sure that my thread is snugged. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. Now I'm going to pause it while I tie my knot in the back. Okay, fold this back up the way it was, the way it's supposed to be, with just the one cuff. And there you go. It is so cute. I like it. I really like the little jingles on there. If you were going to do more than one layer of vinyl, like him, and then a word over that, you wouldn't use the glitter for your base because it's hard to iron on another vinyl over that. You would use a solid and then put the glitter on top, and you would use the easy press for a less amount of time on the first piece of vinyl, peel off the backing, and then put the glitter or your second layer on there, and then you would iron it for a little while and then give it a good press together. So I could have, since it was going to hang, maybe hang this way to pivot him a little bit, but still, I think he's really, really cute, and I like him a lot. I hope you can pick up, there you go, there's the glitter. I know you can see that. So underneath, in the video description, I will give you all the links that I already told you about, plus I will give you the link on how I actually made this stocking out of a tea towel or a kitchen towel from Target. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel by giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel so that you will see more of my work in the future.